Welcome back to Rise and Shine, Ability Connection Colorado's regular promotional meeting. And we're short some people today, Patricia, because there was a fire alarm at the office.
Oh,
So we homebound people apparently unscathed by the regular safety check. I'm glad that they're doing. But Faith and maybe Judy will be joining us in a second. But I know you have a lot to do. So I want to get this conversation started. There's a
okay.
lot I want to ask you. You
Yes.
tell me about what you do with Ability Connection Colorado.
Well, I am in the family services department, and I support families. In We have services divided into levels. So I am a level 3 family support specialist. That means that I provide services to families that are facing a lot of challenges in life, and they might need extra support more than the other families in the program.
Oh wait, look at this. This is amazing. We got the whole team here.
Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning.
One of my favorite people in the world. We've worked together so long, Patricia, I can hardly believe it.
Well, Judy, I just started talking with Patricia because you were all successfully performing the fire drill duties.
Yes.
I wanted you to explain to us and anybody watching the importance of what Patricia does.
Oh, oh my, that's big. That's a big order because it's so important. I was just reading 0 to 3, and 1 in 5 toddlers have challenges with mental health. And so the load for parents today and for our coaches to help our parents is pretty significant, isn't it, Pat?
That's true. That's true. These conversations that we do daily with families are crucial for identifying anything that's going on in the family, and especially in that important topic that is mental health.
You know, that used to be taboo to even use the word mental health. And so we've worked hard to say mental wellness. And I think that's what coaches like you work on all the time, how to help our families and the parents have good mental wellness. How do they cope? You know, reading the sort of the rules of first aid, mental health first aid, listening, supporting, giving them ideas. Can you talk about how that's working for you in terms of your parents' response to your suggestions about what they can do?
Well, lately there was a lot of like our level of stress went high in our centers because higher and higher because um, the situation with immigration, with the many executive orders that took place, and then of course the level of stress the families felt was huge. So these conversations were about what am I going to do. We don't want our families to be separated. What am I going to do if I'm not able to see my child again? I mean, the questions were on top of each other and one another. And it's very difficult because um, these courses that we take at Ability Connection Colorado, mental health first aid, help us to, recognize, identify, can understand all that is going through a parent's mind.
Yeah.
So for real, it went up, and then we had a lot of conversations about it, and then resources too went out to just help them know that we are here for them. We are supporting, and that we're here. That they're not alone. I think so. That's the best way to describe it. They are not alone.
When we had sort of those circumstances going on in the last few weeks, I so appreciated your need and wish to support families and to let them know what we're doing to support them during these times. And your words and kindness were so just so impactful. And I'm wondering, are things settling down for our parents? Do you feel like they're taking a deep breath, or are they still pretty concerned about what's happening in their life?
Yeah, pretty much yesterday I was talking to one of my coworkers about it. That the first, those first, let's 2 weeks when after the executive orders went through, those 2 weeks were very hard. But now I'm seeing that it's calming. It's a
Right.
little by little, families are taking their kids to school, feeling a little bit more like, okay, I'm not a target here, and the stress levels are going down, and parents are showing up that by showing up more at school with the kids and all that.
That's good to hear. And are the children, are we seeing any impact on the children and their time in the classroom?
Well, definitely, I would say that anything that is going on in parents' mind and parents in the family environment, it will impact that child. So children, even if they don't understand fully what's going on, they feel these strong feelings about fear, about my parents do not feel safe, and then that means I'm not safe. So yeah, definitely, it's impacting our kids too.
Yeah. And that's probably shared across the classroom, even if the child isn't experiencing that in their own family, they probably get a sense of it, I would imagine, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So,
What are you able to tell families about handling that kind of trauma at home and getting kids excited to go to school and the family in general?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, um, I would I have these conversations with parents about that they need to do activities that take them out of that status of mind. Like
yeah,
go out to the park to do activities, physical activities that help them to regain that family um, feel that they are good together, that they are safe. um, our kids are very little, but they do understand. They do understand that if a parent is calm, they are calm, and that's what I say to parents. Go through your normal life, do your normal activities. Do not talk too much about oh, this is what's going on. Let's keep watching news. Let's keep in our phones stressing out. No, let's continue with our lives. In the way that um, let's make it as a normal, as a daily life.
sure. Yes.
Hmm.
You have to be such a voice of reassurance for them, and we so appreciate your commitment to the families and the work you're doing to help them. And this is and our staff as well. How do you handle this as someone who has to support others? How does Patricia take care of Patricia?
Well, I do what I I I tell words, but I also follow the same actions. I walks with my dog. I try to do things that makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for
Hmm.
you. A message for all of us to remember that. Yeah,
Yeah. Especially walking with my dog, it's great.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Is there a particular example you have of a student or a family that came to you and then you saw the difference that was made with their being able to attend creative options and their opportunity to get some information and advice from you? I'm sure you have several of those, but is there something that sticks out?
Yeah, there's one of my moms that very young mommy that it was not taking the kids to school, and she said, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not going out for nothing. I have enough food at home. And she felt like just keeping in the kids there will be doing good. But then after we talk and after reminding her, hey, um, remember you have to keep your kids in a normal schedule, in a daily things that they are used to, like going to school, like going to the park, like doing those stuff. And then she also remembered that she also had mental health services support uh, in our agency. And then she said, yeah, I have enough support to feel less fear and go out. So and then suddenly I saw her in person and she seemed good.
Hmm.
She seems safe. And of course she still continues thinking and what she needs to do, what is the next things for her. But she's now keeping their kids in a normal schedule.
That's that's good to
Hmm.
hear. They need that. Yeah,
They need that for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. They really do. Yeah.
Well, and as I've recently learned from our Heads and Heart Together staff, that play is the one thing that can take a kid and maybe an entire family away from their worries.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Like,
And it was funny at how it related to me. They were talking about playing with kids to do that, and I was thinking about every time that I'm stressed, I find myself trying to play basketball somewhere, and I'm not thinking about anything but how mediocre I am at basketball. But it really there's those opportunities to kind of transcend uh,
yeah,
concerns.
exactly. And parents keeping, their schedule and the normal activities, it helps a lot. Hmm.
Patricia, I've always had this question about the word trauma, and I wondered if how parents feel about that word. Do you think they have a sense of what that means, and do do they feel uncomfortable if it's associated with them?
I think so. When I have had those conversations about trauma, one of the things that I mentioned to them, and then it kind of gives them a little bit of a understanding what is trauma, is that trauma causes us to lose connection,
Mm.
and then they have to regain that connection with what it made them feel well before.
Ah,
So for me, trauma is that it's loss of connection with family, with society, with things that you enjoy before. So regaining connection is to me is the basic to fight back trauma.
we think that's one of the most important words in the dictionary. Connect, and
Yes,
being connected.
connect. Yeah, and we are can have a little connection too. So
That's
that's
right.
it's really
Yeah, it's an important word. Yeah,
it's important for you're right. Hmm.
yes, and to remind people of how they can have connections. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't even quantify how many times I've heard from parents and families that have kids at Creative Options where they've seen a kid they did not think would be ready for school, and a couple of years later they are have blowing away expectations and are prepared to go into kindergarten and beyond.
Hmm. Yeah,
And that's just
that's our
me.
job. Yeah,
I could just say thank you for your work, but I had to say it in that many words. So, but thank you.
yeah. Yes, thank you so much, Patricia. You are such a critical element in our program and what you do for parents. Um, we are so grateful to have team members like you at Ability Connection, doing work different than what we thought we were going to be doing sometimes, right?
That's correct. I tell you that thank you for the opportunity, for to work at Ability Connection and do all this great work with families for 17 years now.
Yeah. Well, you have two chips in your ankle now, right?
So yeah, I enjoy my work, my job
It
definitely.
is a little unorthodox, but yeah, we get chipped if we start working at Ability Connection Colorado. At first, I struggled, but now I realize there's so many benefits to the community.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
We're the lucky ones to have folks like Patricia on board.
Thank
And
you
our
so
families are. Yeah. It's important work, and I think we're going to be talking about it for a very long time. It seemed like trauma was distant from us in our lives. Trauma was associated with maybe a natural disaster or someone having a car accident, and now it's so much a part of our daily lives, and we have to figure out how to manage it.
Well, it's the weirdest thing. I grew up in a world where it was taboo. I grew up
Uh-huh.
in a world, as we all did, where we were more comfortable talking about our physical ailments than mental ones. And
Yes.
I grew up in a world where someone there was all these cattle dogs running around the country where I grew up, and you'd get a dog that maybe had some issues, and we respected its trauma more than the humans. We would say, "Oh, that you got to give Toby a little time. She was kicked in the head or whatever." But we don't talk about that with
Yeah.
our own species. So it's nice to see that finally recognized and having some solutions. As Patricia, you are a living example of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Being okay with it. Yes, sir. We have experienced trauma. We can acknowledge that. It's how we're going to get help for it or help others with it. So I think it's an important breakthrough. I hate how it's occurred, but I think it's been important to get mental health has always been sort of a stigma, and it shouldn't be. A physical health isn't. So,
Yeah.
mental health we all have challenges with getting through things, and helping each other is the most important thing we can do. Staying
Well,
connected.
Yeah.
well said, Judy Ham. And Patricia, thank you so much. And before we go, Faith, what's coming up this month or next month? We're leaning into March now. What should people be looking forward to that may bring some more awareness, or something that they can celebrate, or maybe an excuse to donate to Ability Connection Colorado?
Well, so March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, and maybe Judy can share how we started as cerebral palsy and kind of the history we as Ability Connection have with cerebral palsy.
Well, I have certainly a personal connection to it. I had a brother-in-law with cerebral palsy, and also a sister who had um, brain damage from birth. And so a disability has been part of my life for a long time. But I think that cerebral palsy was the most common heard term for kids with disabilities back in the early days. And the moms who got together in 46 had a commonality of children with cerebral palsy and Down syndrome and other disabilities. So it is something to think about, and know that it can happen. It's in about 1 in 500 children. So we still have that battle. And the good news is we're recognizing it earlier and supporting children to cope with it, and their families to work through it and to get the supports and services they need for it. So it's an important thing to remember.
Patricia,
And then,
I'm oh, sorry, Faith, go ahead.
oh, it's fine. What were you saying?
No, you go ahead. I'll get back to it. I was looking for a big closer with Patricia, but I want to hear more information from you.
Oh, and then so starting off March, we have March 1st with National Day of Unplugging. I think that's beneficial for all of us. I
Amen.
know I go on sometimes like a week or two at a time, and I'll unplug from social media, and it really does a lot for you. So
Yeah, watch
unplugging.
this and then unplug.
Yes, of course.
No unplugging yet.
And then March 2nd is Read Across America Day. So take some time and read on March 2nd. And then March 4th, I think, is a really important day. It's March for something day. One, I love the pun of that. And since it's March 4th, March for something. And then it just makes me think of Hamilton, the musical. I love musicals. And they sing, technically, if you don't stand for something, what will you fall for? So what will you march for on March 4th?
That's
Nice.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Patricia, I just was going to say, you seem like a monument of warmth and wisdom. And I was just wondering, is there something that you say to a child that to make them feel more comfortable? I know you've seen some kids who may have just be addled with trepidation. And is there something that you say? Is there something that you've been able to impart to make them feel more comfortable?
Well, I think so. Looking into their eyes and going to their level, understanding that they are depend on us adults, it's very important. So what I tell a child is that they're safe, that we are not we're here to make her feel loved, supported, and safe. I think so that safe word is very important, because that's what a child it's more goes more into fear when they feel it's not he's not safe. But safe is a word for me to a child, to make it feel like you're safe. You're safe here with me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel safe with you, and I'm on a digital connection. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Rise and Shine. Thank you so much, Patricia. And it's Montanez.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I know you're giving me some slack on that. I know I'm not nailing it.
Yeah,
I know
it's Montañez, but original was Montañez.
Montanez. I'm giving you the tilde. I love tildes, and I'm not taking it away from your N.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Judy and Faith. And this has been an absolutely fantastic conversation. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you, Jared.
Bye-bye.